And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, Game Source, and of course the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that magical 5-star review. Looking at my ugly hand, star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus a big shout out to all of our radio stations worldwide that play us all around the world. We give a big salute to you. We don't do it enough, and so we truly appreciate you doing that. Plus, also as well, if you could like, share, and subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest PCC Multiverse, Pop Culture Cosmos, State of Pro Wrestling, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, and all the great things that we do right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend, my comrade in arms. Indeed, she is the morning lady, indeed, the morning hostess of everything that goes on in the world of the Ross household, including Wizards and Wine, Wild Beyond Witchlight, and of course, those great shows that she does, which she will talk to you about. She will give you the hard pitch here in just a sec on all of her stuff that she's doing. It is a good friend indeed. It is, of course, the mastermind behind all of that and the terror in her husband's life. He'll say otherwise, It's okay.
If he knows what's good for him, he'll say otherwise.
There you go. No, absolutely.
I'm kidding. That's terrible. No, of course.
You could joke about that back in the day, but now it's like 24. What does that mean? Is there some underlying theme?
Yeah. No, of course there isn't. No,
of course there isn't. Why is he running back behind you? I see in the.
You're not supposed to point it out.
Yes, it is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you back as always, my friend. Wanted to go ahead and make sure that you get your chops in. First up, what's coming up for you and what's going on in the world of Melinda and Robbie Ross?
Whoa, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Vampires and Vitae.
Yeah, I was going to say Vampires and Vitae. We're getting ready to meet another player's sire. Big scary Sabat guy, so that's going to be super interesting and not at all terrifying at the table.
Okay.
We're not sweating about it at all. And the player whose sire is arriving doesn't know it's happening.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're very excited about it. For Wizards and Wine, we've been a little flaky with our schedule lately, in terms of even getting to the table to play. So we've got to figure out what's going on there. It's mostly my fault. It's never the players, which is usually the other way around. It's usually the DM is ready to go and the players aren't. But so anyway, we are still working away. I have a ton of editing to do, which I've been super lax on as well. But the summer is here, and there's lots more daylight hours to burn. So
all right,
we'll make it all happen. Yeah.
I know you will, and you always put out great stuff. So please go ahead and follow what she's doing today at Wizards and Wine and Vampires and Vitae, indeed. But we've got a great show lined up for you. But before we get into it with us, I want to go ahead and mention here at the 15-minute mark or thereabouts, TJ Johnson stops by. He is highly concerned about Xbox, and rightly so, after they made some serious cuts of some studios, 3 studios, and merged another, including a studio that did put out a much beloved game last year. So what happened? We talk about what's going on with Xbox and how it's not taking a turn for the better, and that's coming up on this show. And I know Josh, who is a big supporter of Xbox, will have something to say on it on the Monday show as well. So we're highly concerned, and we're going to go ahead and talk about here in a few minutes. But before we do, I want to go ahead and mention that on the back end of the show, it is the debut of a brand new challenge. I was thinking about what to call it. The Melinda Box Office Challenge. That's very safe, kind words.
Expected even.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like Melinda or Die a lot better.
I like that too. I think that's great.
Okay. So we will go ahead and, or Melinda will go ahead and project which will be a hit and which will be a miss in Melinda or Die. That is coming up on the back end of the show as well. But first, my friend, I know why you want to talk Star Trek Discovery and its final season, but before we do, I know we haven't touched on it a whole lot. Both either you and I or Don Fobbs, who came up with our Made TV report last week,
Mhm.
and that is Baby Reindeer. I'm not sure how I was going to approach this show because of its controversial nature, and
Right.
it deals with the issue of stalking, and it's some serious issues that's been dramatized into a serious form, and it has become, obviously, when you have something that controversial too. And I think just Netflix knows exactly what tunes to, what tone to hit, because for every thing that they have a miss on, like Zack Snyder's latest movie, and yeah, that don't get me started on that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me scars for all the wrong reasons. But and some other stuff, Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted, yeah, it left me unfrosted. All right, that's
Yeah.
for sure. They do know how to hit with their either true crime stuff or true crime related stuff. And Baby Reindeer has been the talk of Netflix. And you've got to be doing something right or doing something that catches people's eye. And I mean, this isn't it's a drama, but something based off of real life happenings, or at least the people behind the show say that happened. The people that are being accused, or the individual that's being accused, is saying that it didn't happen, that they weren't stalking the individual. So okay, it's a he said she said thing, literally, at this point in time. So your thoughts on the guess the audiences, the worldwide audience that Netflix has, being enraptured by Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's one of those shows that I have in my queue though. When I get tired of going back and rewatching Blue Eyed Samurai for the fifth time. But um just being honest. But no, really, I think that uh when you have something like a stalking situation, especially the way that I think the show seems to approach it, um, it's setting up the show to be controversial, for there to be chatter, for people to go and watch the show. I really think that the way that they crafted the show and the way that they wrote about the real life situation is, I mean, obviously it's sensationalized because it's entertainment, but I feel like it's sensationalized maybe a little bit too far with this particular
Oh, you
case.
think? You
Yeah,
think?
I think maybe they went a little bit too far. I don't know. And then, then you have the alleged stalker. I don't know. Talking about how that wasn't really the case and it wasn't really going on the way that the show depicted it. And you're like, well, it's an adaptation, so it's never really going to be exactly.
But let me ask you this:
Uh,
has she filed suit yet, or did she file a suit to stop the actual movie from
honestly,
the series on there?
I've been removed a little bit in the last couple of days, so
Well,
I
the
don't know if
answer
there
is
has been an
no.
update.
The answer
Got
is
it.
no. So
Yeah. Well,
maybe
I mean,
now she will, because it's come out to be a success. Had it been a bomb, you really don't want to go ahead and attach on to that. But now that it's a
yes.
success, maybe she
Yeah,
will file charges against it. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's very strange and
it
surreal,
is.
and I think
Yeah.
that's the way Netflix likes it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at look at the shows that we have enjoyed the most from Netflix. You've got, I was going to say The Hunger Games. It's not The Hunger Games. The masks with the shapes. Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh, Three Body Problem.
No, well, that one as well, but no. I keep wanting to call it Hunger Games. They had all the contestants and they put them
Oh,
all in.
Squid Game. Squid Game.
Yes, thank you. There it is.
Oh my gosh, I was going, what the heck is wrong with this girl this morning? I don't.
No, I'm wondering what's wrong with myself this morning.
Tiger King. This fits
Uh,
into me like the Tiger King. The same
yeah.
crowd that followed Tiger King so
Uh-huh.
religiously during the pandemic
Yeah.
has latched on to this, I think. It's just a
Yeah,
guess.
Absolutely, but I think that the two things kind of coexist in the same Venn diagram, you know?
Okay.
Um, I think that people who enjoy, because, I mean, Squid Games was incredibly dark. So are these shows. I mean, The Tiger King was horrifyingly dark, and, I mean, it was ridiculous, yes, but, I mean, the whole situation and everything that was happening, it was truly awful stuff. Same thing in this situation, I think. They've managed to find a way to take these stories that have these unbelievable characters in them and turn them into profit.
Okay.
I mean,
And that they
is there
do.
yeah, is there something there to be upset about? Really is the question that we have as an audience, but or we should be asking as an audience, but I think that we are a little bit too interested in watching the car crash, to be honest.
That's not surprising at all. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something we've noticed and we've talked about on this show for years.
Yeah.
Just the fascination that people have with the surreal, the taking advantage of others' misfortunes and things of that nature. And in this case, whether or not there was or was not or was or is or whatever, as far as the stalking, it does deal on that a serious subject, and
Yeah.
it is more than just a murder by the week type deal when it comes to Netflix, and they have been able to be very successful from it. So I think it just I think it just is speaks of Netflix's key. Yes, yes, they do still have a tendency to just throw anything at the wall and see it stick and see if it sticks. Just like, again, that's why you're going to get Zack Snyder junk that he's put out
Right.
there. That's why you're going to get Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted, which has garnered terrible reviews, and
Mhm.
they're going to those action movies that look like they were made on a weekend. You're still going to get those from time to time, but every now and then Netflix throws something there that gets the world talking, and Baby Reindeer looks like it's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest, some of those action movies that are put together in a weekend, they're not bad, but they're certainly not going to have the kind of chatter around them that Baby Reindeer has.
But before we head to the break, my friend, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on Star Trek Discovery and its final season, going on some sort of chase. It just seems like, okay, they're going after this piece, then they're going after this piece. It's like a scavenger hunt, pretty much a glorified scavenger hunt for all best things concerned. Your thoughts on it? This latest episode didn't endear me when it just dealt with them or two of the main characters running up a hill, I guess, in order to go ahead and save the water tower.
I mean,
And yeah, just
yeah, I mean, we all have our hills to climb, right?
they're reaching at this point on Discovery. It's been a meh series for me, and this is a
Yeah.
meh final season from them.
It's certainly going out with a whimper.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Yeah. It almost feels
you usually will defend it.
like
You'll
to the
defend
hilt.
it. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
I
But
remember when you and I went at it on Star Trek Picard as season 1, and I was
yes.
just like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Come on. No, okay, we can't. It'll devolve if we do that, Gerald.
Come
It'll
on!
devolve. Yeah, come on. But no, I do think that Discovery is going out with a bit of a whimper. It almost feels like it's a guys, stop being so mean to us at this point. When I'm watching the show, but that might just be because of all of the conversations that we've had. Maybe I feel a little guilty when I watch it. I don't know, but yeah, it's going out with a whimper. I think that Star Trek Discovery may have had more of an opportunity to shine if it wasn't for Strange New Worlds coming out and being so great.
I mean, it even had the opportunity, which Strange New Worlds really didn't, as far as being, it had actually a chance to go on prime time
Yeah,
and in front of a broadcast audience and didn't
yeah,
quite materialize. So they put it to Paramount Plus. I just see it as a missed opportunity, and just following the storyline. It is set. People don't understand it. That it's set even hundreds of years away from the Kelvin timeline, which
yeah,
you are most everyone out there familiar with. So it just I'm glad it's ending. I'm finishing it. I said this to Cool Bro the other day, one of our followers, about how I can't watch the Bad Batch or can't finish off the Clone Wars and finish off
yeah.
those entire because it just I cannot stay with good, stuff if it doesn't endear me. And then I go hypocritically into this. I've stayed with it through the whole entire series, and I cannot tell you why I did. I cannot tell you why. I just can't. So I guess I'm a
Sometimes
hypocrite.
well, no, I think sometimes you have to be happy to hate something. And, I think
I
that
don't hate it. It's just I'm
well,
indifferent.
yeah, but I mean, even indifference really is an opportunity for you to scoff at something when it's on the TV. You're just like, "Oh god, this is so bad. Why am I even watching this?"
Well, I can
Sometimes
say, well, I could just say we can thank Star Trek Discovery for Michelle Yeoh's Section 31
yeah, very true, yeah.
and Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, that's true. If nothing else, it gave us those things.
That it did, my friend. But
Yeah.
final thoughts on Star Trek Discovery as it finishes all out?
I mean, gosh, I'm gonna go. Maybe this is gonna be a case of. Maybe this is gonna be a case of in 10 years we're gonna look back on it and we're gonna be like, this was really great, and we were really mean to this show. Maybe,
Maybe. Maybe. But we'll
maybe.
see.
Once you can get through that first half season, that was all Klingon stuff and written in Klingon. That wasn't even familiar Klingons. That was unfortunate.
So what are your thoughts out there on Star Trek Discovery and Baby Reindeer? Stalking and spacewalking. Please let us know. Just thought of that one. Pop
Very good.
Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, before we go to on to what we're talking about here with the box office challenge and also Melinda or Die, want to go ahead and just let you know right after the break, it is TJ Johnson. He's coming right back with you right here with me. We're talking the issues with Xbox, and then at the end of the show, it's Melinda or Die. That's coming up right after the break. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back to close out the show. It's the PC Multiverse. Want to thank TJ Johnson so much for stopping by to talk Xbox with us. For those watching on YouTube, I will pop up that video of TJ and I here later on sometime this weekend. I will go ahead and be able to do that. So you'll be able to check it out in its entirety. But not just check it out in audio form right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But before we head on out, it is the game show of all game shows that Melinda has decided to partake in. I named it first the Melinda Box Office Challenge, but she likes better Melinda or Die.
Just has a better ring to it.
Okay. So with that said, my friend, this has actually been a funner show than I thought. I didn't know if I'd stay awake for it, but
It's the delirium of 4:30. That's what it is.
there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I ask you, my friend, we're going to go ahead and preview some of the big movies coming out this summer. Sorry, Chris Pine's Pool Man. We will not be covering you.
Yeah. Oh.
Unfortunately, he's been getting some bad reviews for that one. I feel bad for him because it's his first directorial debut and looks like
Oh,
it
that's
might be
always rough. Yeah.
yeah, it might be his last. But when it comes right down to it, it starts off this weekend with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I want to ask you this. It looks like it's projecting towards a right around $50 million box office, I guess, bonanza here domestically, probably closing in on $100 million worldwide. It isn't a huge success, but after last week's kind of stumble with the Fall Guy, with the Fall Guy who actually did do a fall. This is a step a little bit in the right direction. Your thoughts on this? Will this eventually Melinda or will it die?
I think it's gonna die.
Really? So you think it's just all front loaded?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think that the Planet of the Apes films are not. How am I going to try to? How am I going to put this? The Planet of the Ape movies are really, to me, the same as like the monster movies, like Godzilla and that stuff, where you have your dedicated fan base. They're going to come out the first 2 weekends. They're going to support the crap out of it, and then they've seen it, and it's going to fall off.
Okay.
That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong. It's also entirely possible that I just don't get Planet of the Apes.
Well, I don't exactly get it either. It has just, I don't know which has a more confusing timeline, Planet of the Apes or Fast and Furious. I think they both have a run for money, but
Right.
Yeah, if you asked me to go ahead and tell you both timelines, I really just would say, can I just take a pass? But it is what it is. People seem to like them. They seem to generate enough money for 20th Century Fox, now Disney. So we'll see what happens. It's garnered positive reviews. And we'll just say that, you know what? We wish it the best of luck, but it is now a die for at this point in time. So we have a die for the Planet of the Apes. If comes up as the next big high profile movie release, and that comes up on the 17th, my friend.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on Ryan Reynolds' imaginary friend, Melinda or die?
I think that one's gonna die as well.
Ooh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
she is tough before 9 a.m. She is tough.
I guess so. All right. Why do you think it's going to die?
I think that it's going to I think that there's a funny space for this movie, and I think that once you have filled that space, it's just
Mhm.
gonna everything is just gonna move on. I think that it's a very, very tight, little tiny little like almost like a psychograph of a demograph that is going to find the movie appealing. It'll be different, I think, when it's time for it to no longer be in theaters and it starts coming to streaming. I think it may be more successful there. But yeah, I don't think it's going to do super well.
All right. Well, there you go. The Memorial Day weekend here in the US is a pretty good time for movies. There's a lot of celebratory things that are going on, but people, just like around July 4th, they do seem to get a chance to go to the movies traditionally. Although in this box office realm right now, Melinda, anything is game because it really is just not performed as well the
Right.
box office as in recent years. Even you could say because the pandemic did a lot to do with it, but even compared to 22 and 23, 24 is not getting off to a great note. During the Memorial Day weekend, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga with Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, and then the Garfield movie with Chris Pratt, who, if you told me Chris Pratt, what role is he playing? Oh, he's playing John, right? The dude that, Garfield is messing with. No, no, no. Chris Pratt is Garfield. So your thoughts on this, on if Furiosa or the Garfield movie, or both, will be a Melinda or die?
I think Furiosa is going to do really well. I think it's going to surprise people. I think that the last movie I thought was great, and I just have a feeling that this one is going to do well. Specifically, I mean that cast, right? They're so
Yes.
good, and I mean she was wonderful in the menu. She was so good. So I can only see more good things coming from that. So I think that movie is going to do well. I think it's going to maybe hang around, maybe linger around at the box office a little bit longer than it should.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's going to do all right. Garfield is going to do well for like 3 weeks, I think, and then it's going to start to fall off. I
Okay.
just don't. I just don't know that there's enough people who are still interested in Garfield. But obviously the studios know something I don't.
Well, that's the thing when they're betting on nostalgia,
Yeah.
especially on a character like that hasn't been part of the zeitgeist for kids television for quite some
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And Bill Murray was
Mm,
the last guy to voice Garfield, and you're gonna
yeah.
Chris Pratt to replace Bill. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on
die.
that one. Yeah, that might be a die on that one. Speaking of dying, around June 6th and June 7th is what comes up next as far as a big movie. You could say The Ballerina, which is an offshoot of the John Wick saga, or you could also say The Watchers, which starts like we were talking about before on the show, The Summer of Shyamalan, which is
Mm.
actually one of the daughters, Shyamalan, directing that one, or Bad Boys Ride or Die. So I have any thoughts on that myself in regards to that, but first I get it to you, Melinda or die on any one of those films.
I think The Watcher. I am okay. I don't like scary movies, but I'm so
Mm,
excited to go watch The Watchers.
okay.
Like I can't wait. I already have my friend lined up to go and see the movie with me. It looks like The Watchers are going to be what's going to get me back into the movie theaters.
About time something that Dune didn't do it for you.
I know. I still can't believe that anyway, there's a lot wrong in my life right now, and getting to the movies is one of those things that is wrong. Um, but no, I think that Watchers is going to do okay. I don't think it's going to outperform anything, but I think it's going to like do a solid take at the box
Okay.
office.
All right.
What were the other movies that you mentioned in that?
Ballerina, which is an offshoot of the John Wick saga.
I
Uh,
desperately want that to do well, but I don't know that a John Wick movie potentially without John Wick is
yeah.
gonna work. I
I
don't.
mean,
I mean, I'm
he's in it, but kind of not. It's more about
yeah,
Ana de Armas's character.
yeah. Which okay. I mean, sign me up for that. I'm okay with going to watch that. I do think it's really interesting, and I think that that was such a interesting part of the movie when you started to explore more of that world and the stuff that John Wick had come up through. So the ballerina stuff, I'm super curious about. I can't wait to see it.
And then Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Right. Well, Will Smith had to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It might as well be with that one. I don't know if it's going to do well. And I also don't know that it's going to be the fault of what happened at the Oscars. I just don't know that there's enough um, Big Willie style left for people to go running to the box office when he puts out a movie anymore. I would love to be wrong about that, but
Next thing that comes up that I would say would be something big is Inside Out 2 on the 14th of June. Do you think that this will reignite the hopes out there for fans of Pixar? Will it Melinda or will it die?
I think it's going to Melinda hard. I
Okay.
do. I mean, the first one, what was it, like 800 million globally or something it took
Yeah,
in?
and everybody still remembers the heartbreaker on that one. Yes.
Oh man, like it's so good. And really that's why you go to a Pixar movie is to have those feels tugged on a little bit. And I do think that, the addition of the characters that they're bringing in for the new emotions and stuff like that are fantastic. I get to the next evolution in kids who may have grown up since they've watched Inside Out and now are starting to deal with more of those new emotions that they're bringing into the movie. So again, I think that they have managed to find the right tone. I think they've managed to find the right time to release the movie to appeal to some of the kids who watched the first movie. I just think that it's really smart, it's really clever, and I am here for anything that teaches kids about emotions and how to deal with them and stuff.
Next up on the list is on the 28th, and that's A Quiet Place Day 1. So tell me if you would think that Lupita Nyong'o's performance will help catapult this into a Melinda or die.
I want it to be Melinda. I do. I want it to do well. I'm not sure if it's going to, but I really am kind of. If there is a movie this summer that I'm pulling for, I guess it's that one.
Despicable Me 4 on July 3rd. I mean, this one has a really high chance of melending.
It does, yeah. And I think that I don't know that it's going to do as well as the last movie did, or I'm just trying to remember now exactly what the last movie did. Sorry, it's left
Are
my
you talking
brain.
about the Minions or
The last movie that, yeah, I
I
suppose the
think
last
they
Minions movie.
alternate the Minions and the Despicable Me 3s.
Right, yeah, okay. Anyway, so the last Despicable Me movie, it did okay, didn't it? Which one was it?
Yes, they've over $1 billion. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. I'm
that's
sure
good.
that I'm sure this one is probably going to do all right. Yeah, even if it does badly, over a million or over $1 billion, even if it does badly and only brings in 500 million, shucks.
The week before Deadpool and
Wolverine.
Wolverine come out
Hmm.
is Twisters. Glenn Powell, I don't know if you're on that train yet, if you think he can carry, anything but you did well, but Sydney Sweeney was also part of that, but she hasn't done well and stuff. Other than that, as of yet, I still think the future's bright for her. And I see him now being attached to everything known to man. He signed up with the next J.J. Abrams movie and he's doing other stuff as well. He's the hot name in Hollywood. Is his name big enough now to carry Twisters to a Melinda, or will it get circled up and die?
The Twister movie was such a moment in pop culture history. It really was. And I'm afraid that this is going to fall under the bus of we just brought it back because we needed to make money. And because of that, I'm not sure that it's going to do very well. I think that audiences are getting much more savvy, much more hip to that. And I think that the audiences are going to start responding to things that they don't like, and they're going to start responding to it in very big ways. And they're probably much happier to stay home than to go and check out Twister 2 in theaters. I don't think he's got it anymore.
Wow. So with that said, those were just a taste of some of the summer expected box office movies to hit the top of the charts, or maybe miss and become the next big box office bombs. Of course, there's always your low budget horror movies, which might come into play, and surprise movies as well, which we'll always report on. But what are your thoughts? Which movies do you think will Melinda or die? Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Gotta remember that Melinda or die. That's we gotta play this game again for the fall season or winter
Right?
season. Yes.
Yeah.
definitely
I'm just glad that my name is synonymous with something making a lot of money. That's really great.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm living vicariously through the box office.
So, my friend, it's been a great episode. I appreciate you getting up early to go ahead and do this with me. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
Yeah, get out to the theater and support some of those movies if you think that I'm wrong. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
the box office is struggling, so it needs all the help you can get.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, I know we talk about like the Hollywood side of what that impact looks like, and we talk about the actors and the writers and all of that kind of stuff. But I do think that sometimes we forget that our local theaters are also struggling. So even if we go to see a movie that we might not necessarily be dying to see, it's not necessarily a bad thing to support as much the movie theater as you are supporting the movies. Says the girl who hasn't gone to the movies yet this year.
But hopefully that will change.
Yeah, I plan to fix that. Yeah.
Let's hope you, Melinda, and do not die.
Yes.
I wonder how we would phrase that to Robbie, your husband.
I'm not sure. You know what? I'll just tell him the story and he'll just spit it out. He'll just know. That's what he
Melinda.
does.
Robbie, do you Melinda or die?
Yeah, he'd be like, "Well, I hope I Melinda a lot, but."
Okay. And on that note, it's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.